What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Season 8, Episode 6, The Itsy Bitsy Liar. So let's get started with Nicole and Muad. So it's a continuation of where we left off last week, where Nicole had disgustingly insulted her husband in front of her friends by calling him out of his name. She called him a very disgusting, derogative name, and he steps outside. He's trying to remove himself from the situation. So he steps outside, I guess to have a smoke, and her male friend Julian goes outside to talk to him. So Muad explains the cause of their argument that day, which was over the dress. Muad told him that him and Nicole had agreed to compromise and not to push their own beliefs so hard on the other party. So the friend says that the dress was a way of Nicole trying to compromise with Muad. He says that if you compare Nicole to the other women in LA and how they dress, Nicole is actually very conservative. And I understand that he's trying to make Muad feel better by letting him know that your wife is not really dressing that risque. But, you know, Muad is going by his own religious beliefs on what a woman should or should not, or what a woman can and cannot wear, and how much skin or whatever to expose. He's going strictly by that. Okay. So Muad then says that a bigger concern for him was just the disrespect that she exhibited against him in front of her friends. Muad says that if she cannot accept him and his beliefs, then she can find an American man who's willing to put up with all of that. So then the friend comes back in. Muad begins to pack. And while Julian is giving his interview with the producers, Nicole is screeching in the background, "Get out of my house now." So as he's packing, then she doesn't want him to leave. As he's trying to pack and get out of her house, she doesn't want him to leave. So then she tries to prevent him from leaving. And then she interrupts Julian's interview completely now and tells Julian to stop Muad from leaving. So Nicole takes his suitcase. Julian, you know, is trying to physically restrain him, or like physically preventing him from walking out the door. And Muad is just like, "Get out of my way. I'm leaving. I'm out of here." Like, why are you trying to keep a grown man in a situation that is completely not healthy and is on the verge of being unsafe? So Muad is walking out. He is now like halfway down the street. We can't even see him anymore. And Julian now is chasing him down the street. For what? What are you chasing him down the street for? Understandably, Muad doesn't know the city, doesn't know where he's at or where he's going. But I'm thinking that Muad probably just really needed to get away from Nicole for the moment. I don't think he is trying to walk to the airport. He doesn't have his phone with him to call anybody or to do much of anything. I think he just really needed to physically get away from her to kind of collect his thoughts, because the situation was bad. Even though the friends were there, the situation was really, really ugly. Nicole is just, I mean, I don't know what other word to use other than she's abusive towards him. The way she talks to him with so much anger, with so much hatred dripping from her voice. I don't know what else to call it other than abusive. Now, maybe, you know, Muad is trying to keep himself cool, calm, and collected because the cameras are there and their friends are there. And when they really are truly all alone, I don't know if Muad is a different person. I'm not understanding exactly why Nicole can talk to him with so much hatred. When you understand, I'm not married to a Muslim. I don't live in a Muslim country, but I know enough about Muslims of what they are willing to tolerate and what's acceptable and not acceptable when it comes to certain things. And if he does not want his wife to expose any skin, whether it's, you know, her stomach or her back, if he doesn't want and that's stemming from his religious beliefs, then that's just what it is. And I'm not understanding why Nicole is with a man who's from a religion that is so strict. I've been asking this question for the past 2 years or however long we've been watching Nicole and Muad. I have been asking this question. Nicole is a free spirit. She's an independent thinker. She's an independent woman. She wants to do whatever the hell she wants to do. She's artistic. She's creative. Why are you with someone who is part of a religion that does not allow so much freedom of expression in that way? Like, I don't understand. And Muad, I'm asking you as well. You are so into your religion. You follow it very, very strictly. Why are you with a woman who does not respect that? Who does not see it the way that you see it? Like, why are these two people even together? So Mahmoud is gone. He's somewhere down the street in the dark, and Julian is like racing after him. Moving on to Emily and Kobe. So Emily and Kobe, they go out and they talk about, it's just the two of them, and they're talking about his friends and his friends' concerns about their relationship. Emily says if his friends have a problem with her, then they're not going to be allowed to come to their Cameroonian wedding, because they're going to have a second wedding in Cameroon. And Kobe tells us, he doesn't tell her, but he tells us in the confessional, he's like, this is my country, and my rules, and my friends are going to be there if I want them there. He doesn't tell her that, but he tells us that. Emily then brings up Kobe's ex-girlfriend. Kobe accuses Emily of trying to dig into his past unnecessarily. Emily says that she wasn't digging into his past. His best friend Valerie volunteered the information that when Emily and Kobe met, Kobe was still with this other woman in Cameroon. So Emily wants to get to the truth, and she even suggests calling the ex. Girl, why? Even if the ex told you the one thing that you didn't want to hear, which was, yes, me and Kobe were still very much together. We were very much in love when he met you. I was waiting for him to come back to me. Even if the ex-girlfriend says that, what of it? What is your next action? What are you going to do after that? You're still going to be married to Kobe. Kobe is still going to be with you. You're still going to be with him. It doesn't make any difference now what the ex thought, what was going on between Kobe and the ex at that time, because we are in the here and now, and in the here and now, you and Kobe are married, happily married with kids and all. Like, what is the point? So Emily asks if the ex even knows about her, and Kobe says, yes, she knows about you. She knows that I'm married to you. She knows that we have kids together. We're living in America, and she knows all of this because Kobe keeps her abreast of what's going on with his, with his life in America with Emily. And so now she's upset about the fact that, now she's upset about the fact that Kobe and the ex are still in communications. Moving on from there. So now the whole family, they're going to go spend time at an amusement park or something with a mutual friend of Kobe and Emily. On their way there, they get stopped at a checkpoint, which was really no big deal. All they wanted to see was some identification. They showed them the passports, and the guards let them go. So they get to the park, and we get to meet their mutual friend. She goes by the name of Baby Val, and this is a friend of theirs that was staying with Kobe while both Kobe and Emily were living in China. So their friendship goes way back. So Emily and Baby Val are talking amongst themselves, and they're talking about how Emily is really, really bossy. And so Emily always tries to downplay how bossy she is, and everybody has to remind her, no, girl, you really are that bossy, and you really are that controlling with him. So Baby Val says that she should allow Kobe to be the man of the house. And I'm like, what house? You mean his father-in-law's house? Kobe should be the man in another man's house? Like, what are you talking about, Baby Val? There's a whole nother man running that household, which is Emily's father. If maybe that's the reason why Emily treats him the way she treats him, because he doesn't have his own house for her and the kids, and so she feels like she can disrespect him and talk down to him and be condescending and bossy and controlling, because she's like, we're living in my dad's house, so you have no power, you have no say so. You don't run anything over here. So Baby Val then suggests that maybe Emily should spend more time with Kobe's friends for them to get to know her better and for her to get to know them better. So the next time that we see Emily and Kobe, they meet up with his friends at a nightclub, right? So she's dressed all cute. She's in a really good mood. She's in good spirits. And she wants this opportunity. She wants to use this opportunity to convince Kobe's friends that she really is a good wife for Kobe. So I don't understand why this is important to Emily, because they don't live in Cameroon. The friends don't live in Salinas, Kansas. So why is it so important for her to impress his friends when they're not even going to be around his friends? This is probably going to be the very last time she ever sees them in person. So the friends question, why did Emily invite them to a club instead of inviting them to wherever the hell they're staying at? And Emily tells them that if they were in America, she would definitely have invited them to her home. She would have cooked for them, but they're not in America. They're in Cameroon, and they're staying in an Airbnb or an apartment or whatever. So as she's continuing to explain herself to his friends and how they made her feel by telling her that, you're too bossy and he shouldn't be with a woman like you and he needs to be with a Cameroonian woman. As she's going on and on about that, number one, Kobe was, I think, proud of her that she was standing up for herself in front of his friends. But then number two, okay, the friends didn't like that. So Kobe was like, even though she is standing up for herself, this is what he's telling us in his confessional. Even though Emily was standing up for herself, the friends did not see it that way. They just see her as being combative and argumentative and everything that they don't like and that they think is not good for Kobe. Emily gets frustrated because Valerie, Kobe's best friend, cuts her off as she's, trying to explain herself. Valerie cuts her off and says, this is what I'm talking about. You're just way too bossy. You're too assertive. You're too argumentative. So she gets upset and she walks away. Once again, Emily, why are you wasting all of this energy on people that you probably will never see again after you come back to America? They don't live in Cameroon. So what his friends think don't really. And also, on top of all of that, Kobe doesn't even care what his friends think because he's not going anywhere. Kobe, wants to stay with Emily and her parents and her parents. They're not, what his friends think have no effect on Kobe. So I don't know why Emily cares because, Kobe sure as hell doesn't. Now, I've always felt like there was some type of insecurity within Emily. She is insecure about her body because she's mentioned that before. She's definitely insecure about her body. And I think that she takes that insecurity and she projects it onto her relationship, and she has this belief, I think Emily, in the back of her mind, really does think that she's not good enough for Kobe. And I think that's why she's so triggered by the things that his friends are saying. I think she really does believe that she is not good enough for him. And I think it stems from her not having a lot of self-confidence in herself. Because, she was trying to lose weight, trying to get on Ozempic or whatever in whatever other franchise. What is that? Not The Single Life, but whatever it was that I was watching before this. So I think that, she does have insecurities. I think she does believe that she's not good enough for Kobe. And yeah, that's what it is. Moving on to Ed and Liz. So Ed and Liz had a big old argument, which wasn't filmed. Okay, this happened off camera. They were having dinner, and Ed's family had come over, and Ed had made dinner, but he made the food too spicy. So Liz's daughter had said that the food was too spicy for her, and Ed called her a baby. And Liz got upset that he insulted her daughter, and so Liz got on him. And Ed felt like, she shouldn't have done that in front of his family. So he got upset, and Liz tells us that the next morning when she woke up, Ed was gone. And she gets a call, I think, from the wedding officiator, the officiant for the wedding, and the officiant tells her that Ed had contacted him and told him that the wedding was canceled, so his services were no longer needed. And that's how Liz found out through a third party that the wedding was canceled. So we see Ed talking to his sister, and he apologizes to his sister for Liz's behavior at the dinner, and saying that in a way he was happy because it allowed his family to see, according to him, how crazy Liz is. So they got to see the real Liz. And so, but he does apologize to his sister for the way Liz was acting. And Ed presents the story completely different from the way that Liz presented it to us. He completely leaves out the part about him calling Liz's daughter a baby for not being able to eat the food that was too spicy. All he tells his sister was that that Liz was upset, not because he called her daughter a baby, but Liz was upset because she said the food was too spicy for the child. And that's what made her, go off the handle. So he left out the part on how a mother would feel when someone insults their child because they cannot eat something that is too spicy for them. Okay. So he left that part out completely. So he's already collecting deposits. He's calling up vendors, letting them know that the wedding is not going to be taking place and getting his money back. He's hoping to find the right person. The sister says that it broke her heart to see Liz talk to Ed the way that she talked to him at that dinner. The sister wants him to find a person who's like a born again Christian. Ed, look, Ed, to me, the whole Ed and Liz situation to me It's so fake and phony. I don't know if Liz is in cahoots with Ed just to be on the show, or if Ed completely lied to her because he wants to still be on the show and he was using Liz to be on the show. I don't really know how much Liz is involved in Ed's shenanigans, but to me, Ed is not on, he's not interested in marrying anybody. He's not interested in falling in love with anybody. Ed just wants the fame, the notoriety, and the money that comes along with being on the show. So he's breaking up with her because he has no intentions of marrying Liz or anybody else. He just wants to be on the show. He just wants to be a part of the 90-day phenomenon. That's all he really cares about. He doesn't care about Liz. He's going to find probably another girlfriend and just to stay on the show for however long they're going to allow him to be on the show. He's going to continue to find different women to play his girlfriend just for him to stay on the show. So I don't take Ed and Liz seriously at all. Ed says that he can't marry Liz. It's over. He's done with her. But he hasn't talked to her yet about canceling the wedding. They have yet to have that conversation. Ed tells us that this breakup is going to be different from their previous breakups because this one is not done out of anger. This is done out of coming to the realization that they are just not meant to be. Like I said, I don't take Ed seriously. I don't believe that him and Liz really had a real relationship. I don't believe that Liz was really into Ed the way that she presented like she was. I don't believe any of that. I think that they just wanted to be on the show. 90 Day Fiancé allows them to do this because they think that Ed is like one of the stars of 90 Day. And they think that maybe we can't get enough of him. I don't know if he's got like a huge fan base. I have no idea, but I could do without Ed because he's not genuine. He's only here for stunts and shows. He is not genuine at all. So I have no interest in Ed. They can keep Ed. If I never see Ed again, I'm fine with that because I don't believe that he's here, that he's on the show for the right reason. Moving on to Alexi and Lauren. So I watched Itsy and Lauren when they were on 90 Day Fiancé, the regular one. When they were on Happily Ever After, I didn't watch them. So a lot of the stuff that Itsy was telling us about his relationship with Lauren's parents was completely new to me. I had no idea all this was going on. But anyway, so when we see Itsy and Lauren, it's their daughter's first birthday. They're having a birthday party for her. They've been married now 8 years. They've got 3 kids. And Lauren is telling her friends that she's going to be having plastic surgery. She's going to have like the 360 lipo. She's going to get a tummy tuck, and the fat that they're going to remove from the 360 lipo, they're going to put in her breast. So she's having like a full body, she called it a mommy makeover. Full body mommy makeover. The friends are like, not really sure about this. Her mother joins into the conversation. The mom tells her this is not a good idea. You're putting your life at risk for what? And you have young children to raise, and you're putting your life at risk for cosmetic reasons. Lauren tells us that first she tells us that the reason why she wants to have the tummy tuck is because her abdominal muscles have separated. And this is very common with women who've had multiple C-sections. And she says that it's very uncomfortable for her. So that's why she wants to have the tummy tuck. And then she tells us that she has body dysmorphia. So when she looks at her body, she feels like, it's not the way she wants it to look, that there's something wrong with her. So she's going to fix it. But my thoughts on body dysmorphia, I thought that was like a mental health type of situation. And the solution to body dysmorphia is not to make your body look the way you think it should look. The solution to body dysmorphia is to accept your body the way it is, and and you do that through therapy and through counseling. And getting plastic surgery is not going to solve your body dysmorphia. It might even make it worse, because now you're going to realize, well, now I have a very easy solution, which is plastic surgery, to make myself look the way I think I should look. And you will never be pleased. The whole thing about body dysmorphia is that you will never be pleased with how you look. You're constantly trying to achieve physical perfection, and you can never achieve it, because the human body, it's not perfect. And that's what makes it so beautiful, is all of its imperfections. But whatever. So I was rocking with her when she talked about the abdominal muscles, not connecting or whatever because of all the C-sections. But then when she brought in body dysmorphia, I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea, Lauren. I think Lauren is smart enough, though, that I don't think she's going to turn into one of those people that becomes addicted to plastic surgery and then they start looking, abnormal. I don't think Lauren would go that far because I think Alexi would put a stop to it at some point. I don't think Alexi wants to walk around with a freak next to him. So I think at some point he will put an end to it. But for now, he tells Lauren's mom that, look, this is what she wants to do. I can't stop her. So I am supporting her, but I'm supporting her out of coercion because I have to support her. I don't agree with it. I'd rather she not do it, but she's hell bent on doing it. And so I just have to stand by her side. So this is when Alexi explains that him and Lauren's parents they had some tension because at some point he had wanted to move his family to Israel and her family was dead set against it. Especially, I'm assuming her mom was extremely vocal about it. And this caused a lot of tension between Alexi and Lauren's parents. And Alexi tells us that even though now he's cordial with her parents, the tension is definitely still there. But the mom and Alexi are both in agreement that Lauren does not need the surgery. I don't have an issue with plastic surgery. If you want to, nip and tuck this and that, fine. But if you have body dysmorphia, that's when I'm a little bit more concerned because you're going to think that I can always get plastic surgery to try to perfect my body. And then you start looking like the Catwoman. Okay. And so that's my whole issue with Lauren and her plastic surgery. If you just want to get a nip and tuck, you want to freshen up a little bit, you want to tighten up a couple of things, go for it. But if you have like a mental health type of situation with how you deal with your body and how you relate to your body, then I think the solution is therapy, not surgery. Moving on to Rob and Sophie. Lord help us. I am not interested in Rob and Sophie. Their story to me is boring. It's stale. There's these rumors going around that Rob was doing OnlyFans, gay for pay. We know about Sophie and her bisexuality. So I'm beginning to wonder if these two people are even meant to be together. Someone had said that the reason why Sophie moved out was because she found out about his OnlyFans, him doing gay for pay. I don't know what's going on because Rob and Sophie, their story or their segment to me seems to be very thrown in last minute. So I wonder if it was to replace Michael and Angela. There are issues. Nothing about Rob and Sophie is making any sense to me. They just got married, but they're not living together. Now we find out that they're not even having sex. Okay. Not only were they not, so they're not even having sex, right? So Sophie's talking to her friend and her friend is asking her about her sex life. And she says, well, they haven't had sex in 6 months. When you look at Rob and Sophie, they're young, they're attractive. You think that they'd be going at it like rabbits, but they're not even doing anything. Their bedroom is ice cold. And she tells her friend that when they first got married, the sex was fine. It wasn't as frequent as she thought it should be, but it was okay. But then Rob began expecting her to dress up, to put on costumes, to do role playing when they had sex. He couldn't have sex with her just as she was. She had to be another character. So that began to bother her. And I guess it was just downhill from there. And now they've completely stopped having sex. I'm so confused about Rob and Sophie. I don't know what the hell is going on between these two people. I am so damn confused. Then the friend asks her, have you thought about being with a woman? And Sophie says, well, now that I've been having these issues with Rob, I've been thinking about it more and more. And so then the friend asked her, have you ever been intimate with a woman? And Sophie says that she has. She's never had an emotional connection with a woman, but she has been intimate with a woman, which was very confusing to me because she had told Rob that had never happened, that she's never experienced that before. So I was really confused to find out that she has experienced that before. So, but she's never been emotionally connected with a woman. So Sophie, she talks about how she never told Rob this because their relationship was always in such turmoil that she was afraid of how he would react if she did tell him that. Then the friend suggests that they get therapy. So the friend's like, maybe y'all need to go to therapy. Another rumor about Rob and Sophie right now is that they're not even together, that they have officially broken up in real life. So I don't know. If they have, that might be what's needed, because these two people were like oil and water. They were not getting along. They were constantly arguing. So if that is the case, then that's probably the most healthy thing they could have done for their relationship, is to break up. Moving on to Patrick and Thais, another snooze fest. I'm not understanding why I'm watching Patrick and Thais. Maybe it's going to get better later on, but right now it is a struggle to keep up with Patrick and Thais because their segments are so boring. So it's the night before their trip to Brazil. Thais tells Patrick that her dad expects him to ask for his blessings again, because Patrick said, "I've already asked your father for his blessings." And then Thais says, "Well, that was over the phone. Now my father wants you to ask for his blessings in person." Blessings for their marriage, which is weird to me, because I thought you asked for the blessings before you married the woman, not after you've been married and had a kid. Because if he doesn't give his blessings, then what? Okay, so John is still going to be going to Brazil, which has got, Thais on, her stress level is really high because she thinks that John is going to do something to embarrass her in Brazil. He's going to act a fool in Brazil. Patrick tries to calm her down and say, "Look, you don't have to worry about that." So they finally land in Brazil. The plan was to see Thais' father, not that day, but the day after. They arrive at the apartment that they're going to be staying in. This is an apartment that Patrick has been renting from his father, because his dad is Brazilian and his dad, I think, still lives in Brazil. So there's an apartment that his dad owns, I'm assuming, and Patrick is paying his dad rent to be able to use the apartment whenever he wants to. When they get to the apartment, they're settling down with the baby, and then all of a sudden Thais realizes that there's somebody else in the apartment, and Patrick is like, "Of course there is. It's my dad." So Thais is shocked that the dad is there. So the dad walks on in. And then he starts talking about, the dad walks on in, and Thais was very shocked and surprised because she thought that this was going to be they're going to be there, just the two of them, without, anybody else, without any other interruptions. But the father now is there. I don't really care, y'all. I could care less. I don't really care about Patrick and Thais. Patrick and Thais are fine. I'm not saying that there needs to be problems in a relationship for me to enjoy watching them. It's just that I want to discover new things. I want to see how Patrick and Thais are getting along. And, well, you know what? I don't want to see anything about Patrick and Thais, to tell you the truth. A couple doesn't have to be problematic to be interesting. They just have to be interesting in some way. And Patrick and Thais are not interesting. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later.